CQDX, CQDX, CQDX. This is Havana calling. CQDX, CQDX, CQDX. This is Radio Havana calling all shortwave listeners and radio amateurs. Welcome to... DXers Unlimited, Radio Havana's weekly feature dedicated to the fascinating world of radio communications.
Hi, mis amigos radio aficionados all around the world and those orbiting planet Earth aboard the ISS. I'm your host, Arnie Coro, Radio Amateur CO2KK, now ready for about 10 minutes to devote to our wonderful hobby. Yours and mine, yes, the wonderful radio. By the way, my first amateur radio license dates back to October of 1959, when the call sign CM2DL, Charlie Mike 2 Delta Lima Informatics, was issued to yours truly on Cuban Ministry of Communications. I became involved with the radio hobby much earlier in my life, when I was about 12 years old. I was a witness of the highest solar activity ever recorded for a single month during solar cycle 19 peak. Having spent a bit more than 60 years playing with radios as simple and fascinating as a Havana detector, diode detector radio, and as sophisticated as one of the latest versions of the so-called software-defined radios, or SDRs, as they are popularly known, all I can say is that I enjoy this hobby a lot. After many years, I keep enjoying it. Although I did not have a ham radio license during the peak year of cycle 1957-58, it was possible for me to operate a ham radio station as a second operator, stationed owned by a friend of mine, who kindly let me go to his home early morning and stay in there until supper time, enjoying the absolutely amazing propagation conditions that the phenomenal cycle activity 19 produced. We get a day-to-day record of the audio coming across the Atlantic from the BBC British Television, BBC Television Channel 1, 41 and 45 megahertz. That signal crossed the Atlantic via the highly ionized F2 layer for several hours every day. It was everyday visitors on the Hamilton 30 megahertz radio and the converter. The international statistical year was centered on 1957, but regularly took place between 1956 to 1958. It was very crucial for geophysicists. The propagation conditions all around us more than 60 years have been a complete menu of ups and downs. It is good to recognize that the radio licensing authorities, with gentle persuasion of the amateur radio associations of virtually all the nations around the world, gathered at the International Amateur Radio Union, IARU, have had the wisdom to make sure that we have frequency allocations virtually throughout the radio spectrum, with the most recent additions on the 8 meters, also 630 meters, and 492 to 497, that's 630 meters, and the 60 meters band, the 5 megahertz band. Things are going very nicely for amateurs. Now, some of us radio amateurs that do enjoy a lot QRP or low power transmitter operations are able to operate running powers between 5 and 100 milliwatts, really, really low power, and it's amazing to see how far it can work when propagation conditions are good. By the way, according to my astronomer friend, the oscillations in solar activity that we're seeing since radio was discovered are quite normal for a type O star. That's the name of the sun, the scientific name, type O star, which is how we describe the sun. Maybe we should do a search to find out more about how the sun is going to behave. And what we find is that we're writing the solar cycle number 24 together with the solar cycle 25 that I just started. Amigos, stay tuned for more radio hobby-related information coming to you from Radio Havana Cuba. And do not forget that your comments sent by email reach me every day, giving me a nice opportunity of learning what you think about this and other Radio Havana Cuba programs. Your suggestions and ideas are certainly most welcome at info.rhc@enet.cu. Again, that's the email address, info.rhc@enet.cu. I'll say it's solely in phonetics. India, November, Foxtrot, Oscar, Romeo, Hotel Charlie, December for at E Echo N November, E Echo T Tango, ENET dot Charlie Uniform. I'll be back with you in just a few seconds. This is Radio Havana Cuba, the program now on the DXers Unlimited, and here's our next topic for today. Ultra low power amateur radio experiments and amazing results achieved despite the very low solar activity. Yes, amigos, you can assemble a 100 milliwatt transmitter that's a tenth of a watt rig in less than an hour. It can be home-brewed easily, very few parts, and it will work. The ultra-low power, or QRPP, that's QRPP, transmitters must be crystal controlled to keep them as simple as possible, easy to assemble, and you should fit it with an antenna signal connector that will make it possible to use the rig with your antenna tuners or directly with one of the antennas. In order to make contacts, very low power contacts, complete contacts, you must be patient, especially when the frequency where you are operating is in the clear. These things are running better. Running just 100 milliwatts to a single NPN transistor recycled from a bed computer monitor, that's the final amplifier. I have worked several stations, 12 different DX entities recently, as the DXCC committee prefers to call the geographical areas in order to avoid conflicts regarding the sovereignty of a particular territory. DXCC entities, they are known now. The low power rig is usually heard on 20 meters, frequency 14060 kilohertz. Amigos, see you all at the weekend edition of DXers Unlimited, and wishing you success with sporadically layered crowds that are opening up the 12, 10, and 6 meter bands for nice DX E-skip, wonderful E-skip now in progress.
And that's all for today. This is Arnie Coro, Radio Amateur CO2KK, your host here at Radio Havana's DXers Unlimited, saying 73 and very good DX.
Thanks, Arnie Coro. DXers Unlimited heard twice a week on Sundays, the weekend edition, and on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, UTC days, the midweek edition right here. DXers Unlimited with Arnie Coro.